What's up, guys? Chase Oliver 68 here, bringing you another video to my channel. Now, if you guys like me, subscribe up above, comment down below your thoughts on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw, and follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68. And now it's time to talk about Monday Night Raw for October 8th, 2012. Let's get started, shall we? So Raw kicked off, and John Cena made his way to the ring, and he pretty much was like, 1 week of Raw was like a year to me. Antonio Cesaro has big nipples. CM Punk, be a man and fight me. I mean, it wasn't really anything too relevant. It was just kind of like whatever. And the fans kind of were just like going crazy. I mean, that Sacramento crowd was just absolutely bananas. But yeah, pretty much it was just kind of okay. And then all of a sudden, Cena's coming up the ramp. And by the way, guys, if you don't know, no, that's not a tattoo Cena has on his elbow. It's athletic tape. I'm pretty sure some people may have thought it was a tattoo. No, it's athletic tape. Don't know why he got black. He should have gotten pink to, fit the... It's not a big deal because as we move on, once Cena leaves, Ryback comes out, and Ryback is facing Primo and Epico. Casual Ryback squash match. Feed me more. Crowd was into it. Ryback hits the double shell shock, wins the match. And that's pretty much your opening segment for Monday Night Raw. Now, if you guys all know and follow WWE.com, like, who goes on there? It's all about the dirt sheets, right, guys? Pretty much you would know that Vince McMahon was going to come out for a straight-up address. All of a sudden, Brodus Clay comes out, and he, dances with the Spunkadactyls. And then my boy, and Little Chris's boy, Little Chris has been on vacation, if you guys have been wondering where the fuck he's at. Little Chris's boy, R-Truth, decided that Little Jimmy wanted to dance. And Little Chris, were you dancing during this segment? Little Chris was not dancing during this segment. Little Chris was actually appalled that Little Jimmy had to be embarrassed on that stage. I mean, why is Little Jimmy subjected to dance for Brodus Clay? Shouldn't have Little Chris wrestled Brodus Clay? Little Jimmy should have wrestled Brodus Clay, says Little Chris. And pretty much this segment was just kind of going nowhere. And then Vince McMahon comes out and says, "Get the fuck out of the ring!" Pretty much he just told him to get the fuck out. And we got the Vince McMahon straight up address. And so Vince comes down. He does his usual, the swagger that he has. And he pretty much is about to talk about what WWE is all about. Yeah, we already know what's fucking about, Vince. You don't need to fucking educate us. We're not stupid. And then CM Punk comes out once again to interrupt someone. And this literally leads to what he said to JR last week. "I'm better than all these old guys. Respect me. Respect this." And it's like, Punk, I like you on the mic. I really do, but it's getting really dull and boring when you're saying the same thing to a different person every single week. Change it up, please, maybe. And so pretty much Vince McMahon, and CM Punk, they get very heated with each other, and it's like, I kind of thinking to myself, why does Vince McMahon have to be on Raw to make Raw seem a little bit better? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, it's cool, Vince is here, but why does Raw need him? I mean, if Raw was at a good place right now, they wouldn't need Vince McMahon to be doing this with CM Punk. I mean, this has to be next to Bret Hart, who is another old guy that they brought back, and then The Rock. This is like the only times I've ever heard CM Punk, get legit heel heat on him. It seems like there has to be an old, and JR, of course, but still, why do you have to bring up these old guys to get heel heat on these superstars? Can't they do that by themselves, or is it just that bad that they can't do it by themselves? And so Vince McMahon and CM Punk, they cut a pretty good promo, and at least the Punk slapping McMahon, and McMahon's like, "I'm gonna fire you if you don't wrestle me in this ring." And it was just kind of like, whatever. To be honest, I thought the segment was good, and Punk versus McMahon had me a little bit excitement, but then I was just kind of thinking about it, wow, they need Vince McMahon for this to work. That's kind of sad if I think about it, because it really shows that there's no change, there's no future. It's just pretty much same shit. What else do I have to say there? Do I need to praise this segment because it was good? No, not really. Because I really feel there was no evolution, nothing new, no change whatsoever coming to this. But we get the tag team tournament match between Titus O'Neil and Darren Young versus Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. Rey and Sin Cara win this matchup, and this was an okay tag team matchup. Nothing really too special. Very good though that they are highlighting it, and Rey and Sin Cara move on to the finals. Where they will face the winners of later tonight. And for some reason, we're getting Wade Barrett versus Sheamus on Monday Night Raw. Don't understand that, but yeah. Anyways, Wade Barrett versus Sheamus was actually a pretty solid matchup. I was actually getting into it. I was kind of like, wow, this is actually a good matchup between the two. I wish it was safe for a pay-per-view, but At least it didn't end, like, in a fair way between either guy. What happens is like, Big Show's out there, and, he's doing his usual stuff as a Big Show. He just kind of sits there and goes, yo, I'm the fucking Big Show. And all of a sudden, Tensai comes out, and then I'm thinking to myself, why is Tensai coming out of nowhere? And, like, he just comes out and attacks Sheamus, and it leads to Sheamus, like, bro kicking him, and it leads to Wade Barrett just saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm out of here. And then Big Show tries to, fucking, like, World's Strongest Slam him. Sheamus goes for the bro kick, or not World's Strongest Slam, WMD him. Sheamus goes for a bro kick, he catches it, he just throws Sheamus over the top rope, and it's like, what the okay, I mean, doesn't make Sheamus look too weak, nor make Big Show look too strong, but my interest for this matchup is still going low. Because, see, with the thing about Sheamus and Big Show feud, I want to see these two motherfuckers kick the living shit out of each other. I just want to see these two beat the shit out of each other. I'm sorry, that's what I want to see. And they're not really doing what I expect two big men to do in the ring. They're just not doing that for me. And I don't know if they're doing it out there for you. If they are, comment down below. Because really, to be honest, this feud should be better off. I'm not a huge fan of the Big Show. I do like Sheamus. But really, to be honest, what is going on here? So, it comes out that Antonio Cesaro and his big nipples that Cena likes to look at taking on Tyson Kidd. And Tyson Kidd, really, to be honest, looked good in this matchup. Cesaro looked good. Cesaro could have a little funny promo before this matchup, too, about nachos or something, like, that were fat. The typical European, what they say, like, oh, Americans are fat. And then I find, like, 50 more fatter Europeans than I do Americans. And I go, so we're fat, but you're fat. I get it. I'm not trying to diss Europeans. You understand if you know what I'm talking about. But Cesaro ends up being Tyson Kidd, and we move on from this to get a tag team matchup between Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio versus Team Hell No. And if you guys don't know who they are by now, I'm not going to explain it. So Team Hell No and Ziggles and Del Rio, I'm going to call them Zig Del Rio. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. Well, it was a really good tag team matchup. It was like, wow. This is what I miss in the tag team division. This is what I enjoy in the tag team division. But I felt that it kind of went a little bit too long. Nothing super long, but I think it went a little bit longer. I mean, sometimes there's a good pace to a match. Sometimes, not every match to be good has to go like 30 minutes or something. Right pacing for matches. Right times to end a match. And really, to be honest, I felt they maybe pushed the edge a little bit. But still a very good tag team match. And Team Hell No wins. And they go, I'm the tag team champions. No, I'm the tag team champions. And we move on to a Larry Keane live segment. And I'm like, what the fuck? Larry Keane. I know he was a social ambassador last week. But Larry Keane live? What the hell are we? What the fuck? And so the Miz comes out. Miz literally does jack shit. Miz literally is just like, I'm the Miz and I'm awesome. And Kofi comes out. And then Kofi gets on there. And then Kofi starts beating the shit out of the Miz. And it seems like, is it going to be Kofi versus Miz for the IC title? I mean, why Kofi? I mean, I don't hate Kofi Kingston. I thought him and R-Truth were still a tag team. I'm just wondering, why Kofi? Sometimes you got to do stuff that makes sense. Sometimes you got to make it where it's believable, and I can actually understand why Kofi would be going after The Miz, but why is Kofi going after him? It just kind of is just like a blah whatever feud that will end up going nowhere for both of these guys, which is pretty sad if you ask me. It is pretty sad that this feud might end up going nowhere because it could actually be a good feud. Zack Ryder and Santino Marella versus Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. The Rhodes Scholars end up winning this matchup. This was a short tag team matchup. I don't think anyone really cared about the matchup itself because after the matchup, Encore came out and they beat up on Santino and Ryder. So is this the heel job squad going against the face job squad? I don't know. Nor do I really have too much interest, but at least Encore is getting something to look about. We got Divas title match between Caitlyn and Eve Torres. And really, to be honest, WWE, when you already have 3 people on commentary, we don't need fucking 4. We don't need Layla out there. It's fine. We're fine with 3 people. We don't need a 4th person. I understand. You want to get Layla some exposure. But really, in all honesty, Layla can't talk. I'm sorry. I think Layla is a beautiful woman, but she can't talk. But moving on forward, Eve Torres ends up winning, and Caitlyn was doing a very good job selling her injured ankle, which I thought was pretty damn good. This was a short match. Eve Torres ends up winning due to a heel lock or ankle lock, whatever you want to call it, and it makes sense because her boyfriend is a Gracie. And if you guys know what a Gracie is, or who a Gracie is, you understand, holy shit, I did not know that, and holy shit, that is awesome she's using a submission finisher, because that makes perfect sense. I am fine with Eve using a submission finisher, because unless you know what a Gracie is, or who a Gracie is, you do not understand. A Gracie is a fucking legend in MMA. A Gracie is someone that is a master of submissions. And when you realize that, you will say, bravo WWE, using a Gracie move for someone dating a Gracie, showing that she does have a legit background, showing she's not just a waste of space. I think that's a great move. So let's move on forward. Eve Torres wins. And pretty much for the rest of the time, we get some random backstage segments. Like Daniel Bryan talking to Larry King. Yeah, man, fucking awesome. Punk and AJ Lee talking about Vince McMahon. JR screaming, McMahon, McMahon, McMahon. And Del Rio worrying about what Randy Orton is putting on his Twitter machine. But besides that, the main event was Vince McMahon versus CM Punk. Vince McMahon comes out. Punk attacks him. Then afterwards, Punk has the upper hand. McMahon comes back, starts beating the shit out of Punk. Punk gets a low blow. Punk is about to finish off McMahon. All of a sudden, beat me more. Ryback comes out. And then afterwards, CM Punk runs away. Then John Cena with one arm comes out. And he takes CM Punk back into the ring. Ryback's about to finish him off. And then Punk's like, nah, I'm done with this business. Runs away. This crowd, though, I will admit, was going batshit crazy when Vince McMahon was hitting the cane on CM Punk. Like, the cameras were shaking. Like the camera was shaking like this. Like it was shaking like that. And then when Ryback was doing the shell shock, the camera was shaking like that. You know what I'm saying? The cameras were shaking. It was going crazy for this ending sequence for Monday Night Raw. I'll give the fans props to that. CM Punk runs away, and it's announced that Ryback, he will either have to face Ryback or Cena at Hell in a Cell. And it's like, okay. And none of the fans really looked too excited for that. They were just like, huh? What the fuck? I think you kind of got delivered too late. But main event wasn't great. It wasn't good. The crowd was into it, which was great. It made it easier to watch, but it was just whatever. And to be honest, that's how I felt about this Raw. I know many people are going to be like, this was a great Raw because Vince McMahon, JR, JBL, and all these old guys were on it. And this deserves a great show. And it really, to be honest, was just an okay show. I mean, we got some good in-ring action. McMahon and Punk was a pretty solid promo. The rest of the stuff just was like, whatever. The tag team tournament did shine a little bit. You almost gave away a pay-per-view match for free, and we still don't know what our WWE Championship main event is, and isn't it Hell in a Cell next week? To be honest here, I just feel that it was just an okay show. It's like, why do we need old stars still to produce for the fans? Why is it that we need old stars? Please comment down below. We still need these old guys to come back and make us care about these wrestlers. I get it. You're going against Monday Night Football. In fact, it's playing on my TV right now. And Arian Foster, look at him go! But anyways, this is Chase Oliver 68. Raw for me gets a C again. C is pretty much just an average show. Tell me what you guys thought about Monday Night Raw. I know people are going to probably bash me for not liking the Vince McMahon theme, but hey, it's my opinion, and I respect your opinion if you respect mine. So I'll see you all later. I got Arian Foster to root on for. I'm not a Texans fan, but he needs to help my fantasy team, goddammit. See you all later.